Hey everybody, I've just come back from an amazing trip to the Philippines, and I found Filipino people to be by far the most amazing, friendliest, most hospitable people anywhere I've ever visited, so it was truly an amazing experience. However, I made a few mistakes in my planning, and I had some things go wrong, including this motorcycle wreck. As you can see, I'm almost recovered from that. So check out this video and find out what you can do to make the most of planning your trip to the Philippines. The trip started off well enough. My amazing couchsurfing host and new friend Don Santos picked me up at the airport. We had a late lunch, and Don treated me to a great driving and walking tour, including Intramuros, the walled city. A couple of things you'll see a lot of throughout the Philippines are basketball courts and jeepneys. By far, the most exciting part of Manila was my visit to North Cemetery. Visiting the cemetery and interacting with some of the residents is an unforgettable experience. The living are squatters, and there are said to be thousands of them. They literally live inside of the elaborate mausoleums along with the dead, which includes scores of Filipino notables, including past presidents. Everyone was super friendly and were excited to have a foreigner visiting. The kids were more than happy to pose for photos. After Manila, my plan was to visit the island of Mindoro. One of my first mistakes was in planning the trip to Sablayan. The problem was it involved a 3-hour bus ride to Batangas, a 3-hour wait for a ferry, 3-hour ferry ride to Abro, and then a 3-hour bus ride to Sablayan. So an entire day was wasted. This was poor planning on my part. The ferry ride itself was slightly entertaining as a parade of people came by trying to sell eggs, water, and other morsels of food. The town of Sablayan is fairly interesting. However, if your trip is limited in time, it's probably not worth taking the time to see that unless you plan on spending some time at April Reef doing some diving. There's a prison farm which is about a 45-minute ride outside of town where you can visit with inmates and learn all about life on the farm. If you go, be sure to get a permit from the tourism office or you'll not be allowed to visit the prisoners. By far my favorite part of Sablayan was walking through this little beachside neighborhood where all the kids came by to say hello. Hello! 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 After checking out a Gustav's place, which will be covered in a separate video, I took the bus from Sablayan to San Jose, stayed overnight in a cheap hotel, then took the first bus to Bulacan. From there I took a ferry to Cataclan, then a banca boat to Boracay. Boracay is not really a place for serious travelers. It takes a lot of trouble to get to it, and is full of drunks, beggars, stray dogs, t-shirt shops, and restaurants, people as far as you can see. However, here's a few of the things I did. I'm leaving Cataclan now, headed to Iloilo, so I can catch the ferry over to the Cebu City, which is the part of this trip I'm really looking forward to. I'm currently in Harlo, which is near Iloilo, and this town has a lot of mansions, like this one. They were once supposedly really nice sugarcane well built these things. After a failed search for abandoned mansions in Haro, I took a taxi to the port of Iloilo to catch the overnight ferry to Cebu City. The next morning I was picked up by another amazing couchsurfing host, Honey, and her family. We drove through some beautiful coastal and mountain scenery. Our first stop was Calasan Falls, which is 2 or 3 hours drive from Cebu City depending on traffic.
Can you tell us about your experience today at the falls?
That was awesome!
And you, sir?
It's great!
After Calasan Falls, we proceeded further south to Manic Springs. This park has a mixture of hot and cold springs and some waterfalls and nice swimming holes. Catching the ferry here from Liloan on Cebu to Dumaguete so I can get over to Siquijor. This is a little terminal. It's basically the end of the whole island. I think that's the boat I gotta get on. I'm at the Villa Mar Marine Resort. It's a really cool place. I found it by riding around on my motorcycle. and just stopped in a few different places. This was by far the best deal that I found of the places I looked at. It's really cool, run by a Japanese couple. Sadly, my trip to CQR Island was interrupted by a motorcycle crash. The island was to be the highlight of the trip, but I didn't make it to any of the destinations I had planned. I'll have to go back. Alright, this is why they say foreigners should not rent motorcycles. Alright, so as you can see, things didn't work out exactly the way I planned, but it was still an amazing trip. I plan on going back in January and spending actually more time. I had planned on 2 weeks there, but I could see that wasn't really enough. So check out the notes, find out more details, and be sure to subscribe. Also, you can check out my blog at christopherryan.com. Thanks for watching. Don't miss any of our fun episodes. Subscribe now!